YouTube Going. The Goat House is back. Heading into super wild card weekend we're going with now. I'm here at my score predictions, predicting all 6 games, giving you the score. We'll take a look at the spreads of the game, see if they're worth putting money on. A lot of tight games, as expected here in the playoffs, so cannot wait for these games. We even got a game on Monday. We'll be doing our full bracket predictions later today. Maybe it's already up by the time you're listening. We got straight up picks with the other guys. We got playoff team rankings. We got some off-season videos, mock draft, coach videos, free agency, all kinds of content here. Join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you're looking for just straight links to those recent videos, pinned in the comments, along with our Twitter. A lot of polls going on there, keeping you guys involved. And here they are. We got awards. So we actually had, where are we at here? We actually had a lot of polls, and that brought us to the finals of these. There they are. The finals of these polls are underway for all these different awards. Some time left, so go ahead and check them out, play along. These will be used in the video. So you get my award picks, your guys' award picks. So exciting stuff there. First game, Raiders-Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 5.5. I got the Bengals taking care of business 31-20. These two teams did play each other not too long ago. The Bengals definitely handled business in that one. But the Raiders have gotten a little better since then. I'd argue maybe their defense didn't get better, but they're clutch, more confident. Offense got better, the Raiders, that is. I do think the Bengals have gotten better as well. It's a tough matchup, and usually you don't really want to base things off the last time they met, but there are some problems. I think the Bengals may be getting inside the Raiders' heads based on what happened last time, because you remember the last game, the Bengals didn't really need to pass the ball to win. They just pounded the ball to Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had himself a ball game, maybe his best game of the year, because they realized the Raiders at that time, their run defense was struggling. So what was the game plan for the Raiders going into that? What's the game plan for anybody going against the Bengals? That's why I love the Bengals offense. It's like you got to worry about so much in the passing game, and then you have Joe Mixon, the running game, spreads the field out so much. So do they go into this game more worried about the run because it beat them up last time, but they did do a solid job against the pass, but it was more the Bengals didn't need to pass the ball, so how do they switch things up here? I do worry about the Raiders defense. It has been struggling there, so they're going to have to get, I like the pressure they got on Justin Herbert last game to get in the playoffs. If they get that pressure on Joe Burrow, that could be the difference. Sometimes teams' glaring weaknesses really show themselves in the playoffs, and the Bengals have a weakness of offensive line. Maybe it's just a whole different ballgame when you get to the playoffs, and the Raiders' pass rush gives them the business there. But I got to go with the Bengals. I like them scoring a good amount of points in this one. I think they'll have success through the air with their collection of receivers and their top-tier quarterback in Joe Burrow, and then in the running game with Joe Mixon there. Raiders, they're going to have a hell of an offensive game, and they have some good performances offensively, but they got to be consistent throughout these games. Throughout each quarter. So I do think it's a tough matchup in the cold in Cincinnati. So I like the Bengals 31-20. Curious to see what the Bengals' angle is. Are they just going to pound the football? Are they going to mix it up? Are they going to air it out because that's what they're best at right now? Curious to see that. Because maybe if they just only pound the ball again, a lot of clock coming off. They did it last time though, and they scored in the 30s. So we'll see. I got the Bengals 31-20. The Raiders pull this off. Definitely possible. If they pull this off, man, Bisaccia may be keeping his job for next year. They hire him full term. People are kind of getting hyped in the Raiders here if they win this one, so it'll be interesting. Patriots, Bills. I actually have the Patriots winning. This is a toss-up one. I'm well aware I'm going a little bold here on this one. Just kind of a gut feeling. I do think the Bills are the better team, but in the head-to-head here, I just got a feeling about it, and it's pretty damn close, though. But I'm feeling the Patriots in this one. It's going to be freezing cold. The Buffalo Bills got their Bills Mafia. They got the crowd with them at home. It's going to be freezing cold. I don't know if a lot of wind, though, like that first meeting. So does it affect the passing game? I think when it's that cold, remember it's a night game, I do think it affects the passing game a little bit. So we'll see how Josh Allen does here. I think it's going to be, you got to run the ball to win this game. And the Bills, in big games, they've kind of went away from running the ball. So will that come into play? Which Patriots defense will show up? During a portion of this year, they were an elite defense, the best in football. Down the stretch of the season, they started to decline a little bit. But Bill Belichick it's all about the game plan here in the playoffs. With his game plan, I can see the Patriots defense coming back, getting maybe back to that elite category. I actually look at the last time they played, and I think people look at that game, and the Bills really gave it to them. They scored a lot of points. They felt like they figured out the Patriots, and they handled business in that game. It was a pretty entertaining game, by watching the Bills and what they're able to do. Everything went right for the Bills. The passing game, and they're running all right. They created turnovers on defense. They weren't turning the ball over. Everything went the Bills' way in that game. They were on. It's close to as good as they can play. And the Patriots were a little bit of a disaster. It was kind of a bad game for them. And then people look at that like, all right, the Bills got them. But I look at that and say maybe it happens again. But I look at that and say the Bills played against the Patriots maybe as good as they can play. Sure, it's possible. There's room for improvement, but everything kind of went right, and they deserve credit for that, of course. It wasn't like luck or anything like that. And the Patriots played about as bad as they can play. And on top of that, the Patriots were somehow still in that game the whole way. J.C. Jackson dropped an interception. They failed to stop Josh Allen on fourth down when they had an opportunity. They actually had a shot in that game as bad as they played. So fast forward, all about the playoff game plan here in the freezing cold. Just a gut feeling with the Patriots here. I do think the Bills are the better playoff team. They had, the Patriots I do not see going on a Super Bowl run. Just don't see it. I see them beating the Bills. Maybe they can win another game. I can see the Bills, even though I have them losing this game, I could see them going on a Super Bowl run here. So it's going to be an interesting game. I like that line of 4 because I really think it's very realistic for the Bills to win. I think this is a 3-point game either way or less. I really do. I think whoever wins is going to be by 3 points or less. My take. Mac Jones in the playoffs, that's kind of maybe the doubt for the Patriots. A rookie quarterback in the playoffs. It's a whole different atmosphere. It's going to be freezing cold in Buffalo with that crowd. Does he just fold here? Does under this type of pressure? Possibility. He was part of maybe the best college football team of all time. It's college, but I don't know if pressure was an issue at Mac Jones. It's gonna be a hell of a game. It's my second favorite game of Super Wild Card Weekend here. So it's kind of just a gut feeling. We did straight up picks yesterday. We had more guys take the Bills. If the Bills win this game, I'm definitely a believer that they can. If they match up with the Chiefs, they match up with the Chiefs well. That'll be a hell of a game. So, if they just win this game, I can definitely see them. This might be the toughest one for them, really. Now that I'm thinking about it in terms of the bracket, the Titans always could be tough. If they win this game and they look pretty damn good and they impress me, I might be thinking Bills Super Bowl just like that. So that's just how the playoffs are. Every game is different. Every game is different. Every matchup is different. Next game, Eagles-Bucks. I think a little closer than the spread. Big questions with the Bucks without Chris Godwin, without Antonio Brown. Fournette's coming back. He's a little beat up. Hopefully Mike Evans can stay healthy. Hopefully the defensive guys can stay healthy. Look at Levante, David, and guys throughout that secondary. Jason Pierre-Paul on the defensive line as a pass rusher as well. They move him. He can play on the defense line. He can play outside linebacker scheme. They moved him around the playoffs, which was huge. So those guys got to stay healthy, but mainly going back to that receiver position. They got that elite quarterback, Tom Brady. They had the elite offensive line, and it was kind of a bonus and made them that more electrifying last year, most this year, that they had maybe the best receiver unit in football with, again, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown now gone. Godwin's still with the team, but he's hurt. He didn't leave on the team like Antonio Brown, but is that going to be a problem? And the Eagles' defense is pretty hot right now. Second half of the year, they really got better. First half of the year, they were worse than I thought. Second half going to be going into the season. Second half of the year, they were better than I thought. I like the balance. It's like, is this a run-stopping defense or is it a pass defense? I don't think either. I don't think it's one of the. It's only one. It's kind of both evenly. I like that a lot. Again, the lack of receivers of the Buccaneers, could that cause problems? The Buccaneers do a great job stopping the run, but this is a different type of run with Jalen Hurts. So do the Eagles kind of take that away from the Bucs? Yeah, you can't stop the run. That changes everything, But the Bucs' weakness is kind of the pass coverage right now. Eagles, Jalen Hurts going to have a pretty good day through the air here. So we'll see if they can do that. Another thing is, as good as the defense has been, as good as the running game has been for the Eagles, that they've really went on a tear against maybe the weaker opponents. Not super weak sometimes, but and they're a playoff team, though. Their Eagles are definitely deserving of a playoff team, so don't get me wrong there. But my point is it's a little different matchup. But I think they hang around. I think they hang around this one. I think the Buccaneers, They'll probably want to run the ball a little more than they do in this game, so a lot of running clock. I got the Buccaneers 27-23 at home. Eagles could be a little sneaky here. 49ers and Cowboys, this should be a good one. I'm kind of arguing with myself on this one. The 49ers could be very sneaky. They're hot the second half of the year. It's just that physical team. It's that physical team that wears you out. It's just something different in the atmosphere when you play the 49ers in the playoffs. So I definitely can argue the 49ers for those reasons. I think it can be a close 49ers win. I have it as a close Cowboys win. Honestly, if it's a big win, I'd more so go towards the Cowboys. I could see that, because the 49ers do rely on the run. The Cowboys against these I kind of go back. Can't base it too much on that because the 49ers are much better than the Vikings, but I got to go back to the Vikings game, prime time, Sunday night. Same type of offense the Vikings have as the 49ers. The Cowboys just would not let the Vikings run. They stopped that West Coast outside zone runs, and the 49ers got some inside zone as well, but and the Cowboys kind of took that away from them, put them in an awkward situation. Do they have the ability to do that in this game? I think they can. They're not going to completely shut it down, but I think they have that ability. I think they'll be sticky in man coverage. A big piece of this, a big part of this, and why I like the Cowboys, why I feel safer with the Cowboys, is the Cowboys create turnovers on defense. They're number one in football. Garoppolo playing with the torn ligament in his thumb, really take care of the ball. They are really relying on the run. If they come out and the run is working, 49ers might win. If it's working, 49ers might win. If they come out and the run's not working, I feel like it's game over. Ball game right there. Cowboys are going to take the ball away. And the Cowboys, with their high-powered offense, and they spread it out a lot, and they'll have enough success. Maybe more field goals. Maybe the 49ers clutching up in the red zone here. But I like the Cowboys 26-24. These two teams both could be pretty dangerous here. Next game, Steelers and Chiefs. We saw them a few weeks ago. Chiefs beat them up pretty good. Comfortable win this time. I think the Steelers get a little bit more on offense going, getting up to 17 because they've been a little better running the ball. They've been a little more clutch at the end of games in terms of the passing game. Big Ben, they've been stepping up a little bit on defense maybe, so maybe make it a little more interesting for a little bit of this game just because it's the playoffs, but I like the Chiefs. It's a tough matchup for the Steelers. I've talked about it's why it happened, what happened last time. It's just the Chiefs are going to score. If this is last year's Steelers defense, I'm not going to say that with confidence. Even though the Chiefs' offense is always great, I'm like, the Steelers is a shot. The last year defense, the Steelers could stop them, but the defense, it still could be solid. It still is solid. It's got the great pass rush led by T.J. Watt. It's just not the same. The Chiefs are going to score points in this one. The question is, can the Steelers keep up? That's going to be the big thing. And a lot of us are a little hesitant to believe they can keep up. But again, they've been improving a little bit. Maybe Najee Harris just takes off early in this one. They control the clock. It's definitely a possibility. Maybe they create a turnover on defense early too on top of that. And that'll be big time for the Steelers and to take over this game early on. I still think the Chiefs are, I still think the Chiefs would come back in a game like that, though. I think the speed that they have is maybe a little too much. But the defense, Chiefs defense, maybe not playing as good since the last time I played them. Maybe there's some things on film that the Steelers could find here they can grab. So we'll see. I think it'd be a major upset there. I like the Chiefs 31-17. And my favorite game of Super Wildcard Weekend is the first Monday night game. It's going to be a squeaker. 31-30, 1-point game. This game has to be a tight game. Look at it. How is it that last week all those big-time playoff implicated games were just insane, crazy, close games, wild games? It's just how it has to go. Monday Night Football, the best matchup, the biggest game, a division rival game. It's gonna be a great one. It's gonna be tight. I think these are the two sneakiest teams. I've been talking about it a lot. People probably sick of hearing me talk about it, but I think these are the two sneakiest teams in the playoffs, perhaps, because they can pull some tricks out of their back pocket here. And then we've seen glimpses of these tricks that I'm talking about throughout the year. The Cardinals, very big playbook. They got a lot to their game. They haven't really been using it recently. Maybe a little bit. It's just more of they got to execute in those crucial situations. But I want to see speed options. I want to see read options. I want to see Kyler Murray get outside early in the game on the ground to open everything up from the Cardinals. If they do that, it's all about game plan to playoffs. It's a tough game plan for anybody. A lot of these old school defensive coaches, they don't want to deal with it. And that could open things up for the Cardinals. You look at the Rams. Everyone knows they want to air the ball downfield. They know it's a straight drop back. let's look at Cooper Kupp with designs in place for Cooper Kupp. Rams have the ability to go from predictable to unpredictable, being sneaky. They have a very good group of running backs. Pound the damn football. Pound the football, run some play action, throw teams' game plan off, make them be like, where did this come from? Where did this come from? Teams will probably have it in mind. They might throw this out there, but it's not a big part of the game plan, So that's what these teams got to do. And I think it's going to be a back-and-forth, high-scoring game. I still like these defenses. They're pretty solid, but I think these offenses are going to be what the offenses are supposed to be. I like the Cardinals in this one. It's going to be about managing the ball, taking care of the ball. Who's going to have that extra turnover or two? Stafford's leading the NFL in interceptions. Got to take care of the ball. Murray's been maybe a little off his game recently. Hasn't turned the ball over a lot, though. They just happen to come in the worst moments. And that's something I don't think really does it keep up. Last time I played the Rams Monday Night Football, it looked early in that game. It looked like the Cardinals were going to dominate them. They went and got a field goal. It was a little underwhelming. I felt like they were going to score. There was a bare miss by Kyler Murray throwing downfield to A.J. Green, I believe it was, wide open for a touchdown. It's still a positive play. We know that worked. Just to barely miss that. They get 3. They get the ball back, and they are throwing everything at them. They're throwing everything at the Rams. And they got down the field. And at that point, watching that game, I'm like, man, Cardinals are going to be a problem. That part, it's a small portion, but that part was more impressive than this little small part was more impressive than what they were doing earlier in the year when they're on their roll. And then when they got in the red zone on that same drive, they threw an interception right on the goal line. And it's just that one poor executed play. If that doesn't happen, dominant team, So I think I'm banking on a little bit more of those having better execution in those crucial moments here for the Cardinals. And who am I going to – that's the thing, too. That's why these two teams are tough to predict, because who pulls out those tricks, the sneaky, unpredictable tricks that people don't want to see? Who's actually going to do it? Because I can sit here and say they can do it and it's going to look good, but who's actually going to do it? I'm a little more confident with Kingsbury using those. McVay could be a little stubborn. It could be a little stubborn there with his ways. So we'll see. I think both these teams could make a run. I think both these teams are. I think they could. It's so weird because I think these teams could be. One of them I could see being just completely underwhelming in this game and be out. Or that same team, I could see them making a run to the Super Bowl. I think they can be bad in the playoffs. I think they can be great. This is the type of teams these are. I was surprised by the line of 4. I'm not overly confident with the Cardinals. I saw that matchup. I was kind of feeling the Cardinals right off the bat, so I'm somewhat confident. But the 4 line, I really think it's going to be close. I really think it's kind of like the Patriots-Bills game. I think it's going to be within the winner's going to win by 3 or less. It's going to be tight. Even if I could see a scenario where somebody gets up real early. Maybe the Cardinals get up 10 or 14 right away. Maybe it's the Rams. They got up 17 against the 49ers. I can see it more of the Cardinals for some reason. The Cardinals getting up 10-0 early. And I would say it's not even close to over yet, and everyone should expect that, and it kind of can end up being close. So that's kind of my feeling on this game. 2 dangerous teams, 2 teams that can be completely underwhelming, so disappointing, but 2 teams that could be dangerous in the playoffs. So I am really I wasn't thrilled about the idea of a Monday night game, but now I'm jacked up about it. So I'm really excited for this game on Monday night. Another reason I'm picking the Cardinals, they're away. It sounds ridiculous. Maybe it'll be different in the playoffs, but they struggled at home. They're slipping and falling on their own field for some reason. They are better away. They are actually better away. Primetime game. Last time they played, it was a good game Monday night. The Rams won. It was in Arizona. The time it was in L.A., the Cardinals threw everything at them, and Rams didn't know what to do on defense. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a great one. So that'll wrap up my score predictions for Super Wild Card Weekend, all those games, and we'll be back next week with the divisional round games. We got all kinds of playoff content on the channel. Plenty more to come, of course. If you're looking for links to those, pin in the comments. Twitter, we got awards going on. There's a link directly to those in the comments, of course, as well. So anything you're looking for down there. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.